Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
The final weekly episode of the Jack Benny program. This episode originally broadcast May 22nd, 1955, a Sunday night, and Jack having problems with the sound effects man. I'll explain why the show has no, we'll see you, it's been fun, we'll see you sometime.
The Jack Benny program. Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Rochester, Dennis Day, Bob Crosby, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the last Jack Benny show of the month. It's also the last program of the current series, and as a matter of fact, it's the last show of the season. So now I bring you a man I thought wouldn't last, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking. And Don, I know that you're trying to be clever on the final show, but how could you possibly have thought that I wouldn't last? After all, a man my age is just in the prime of life.
I guess you're right, Jack. They've been priming you for 20 years.
Don, George Global. CinemaScope stomach. Now, Don, control yourself. But, you know, you may be right. After all, nobody can last forever.
You're sure working on it, Bub.
Well, I see we have another candidate for the unemployment insurance. You better watch it, sister.
Jack's right, Mary. He deserves a little more respect from us. After all, he's one of the pioneers in the broadcasting business.
You're darn right. Why, when I did my first program, there were hardly any radios in the country.
And darn few people.
Darn few people. Plenty of people when I started.
They may have had feathers in their hair, but they were people.
Mary, if I were Jackie Gleason, you know what I'd say? One of these days, pow, back to the May Company.
If you were Jackie Gleason, I wouldn't have to go back.
All right.
Oh, Jack, why are you so touchy? Can't you take a joke?
Certainly I can take a joke, but here we're doing our last program of the season, and everyone comes in and insults me.
I didn't insult you, Mr. Benny.
Huh? Oh, hello, Dennis.
Hello, sir.
Well, you see, Mary, Don, Dennis knows how to treat me with respect.
Certainly. I feel that when a man keeps you working all these years, he deserves respect.
Well, naturally.
A man doesn't get to be the star of a radio and television program unless he has ability and talent.
Thank you, Dennis.
No star can keep a loyal following of fans loving him through all the years unless he's an outstanding personality.
Well...
Can I go now, Mr. Benny?
Why?
I can't keep reading this stuff. It's making me sick.
Why did I have to let him go on? Why didn't I stop him when I was ahead? I should have stopped him earlier, like in 1946. Oh, well, it's the last show of the season. I won't be seeing him for quite a while.
Oh, say, that reminds me, Dennis. What are you going to do this summer?
Well, Don, I'm going to visit my uncle in Las Vegas.
I didn't know you had an uncle in Las Vegas, Dennis.
Yes, he's married and has a lovely wife and 3 slot machines.
Gee, Dennis, I envy you going to Las Vegas. I'd like to go there, but it's so expensive.
What do you mean expensive? Last time I was there, I got a room for $2 a day.
$2? Must have been an awfully small room.
Well, yes, it wasn't too large. As a matter of fact, it didn't even have a bath.
Jack, do you mean to say that you stayed at a place without a bath?
I didn't need one, Don. They cleaned me before I got to my room. Hey, say, that's a funny joke.
It may have feathers on it, but it's a joke.
I'm going back to Las Vegas this summer and stay at the Flamingo Hotel.
Say, Mary, what are you going to do this summer when we're off the air?
Well, I think I'll just stay around the house, spend all of my time in the backyard and my garden.
Well, that should be nice. Here in California, you can grow some wonderful flowers.
I'm going to grow vegetables. I got to eat.
Say, Mary, that's smart, growing your own vegetables. Where'd you get the idea?
From the present Jack gave me last Christmas.
What'd he give you, Mary?
100 pounds of Vigoro. Gift wrap, yes.
Now, wait a minute, Mary. I think you're going just a little too far.
That's right, Mary. How can you say such things about a man who's so nice, so generous, so nice, so generous, so nice, so generous, so nice?
Dennis, turn the page already. For heaven's sakes. Anyway, Dennis, time for you to do your song. And since this is the season's final show...
Jack, I think the sound man is trying to get your attention.
Oh, yes, he is. What is it, Twombly?
Well, this is the last show of the season, and all my relatives is listening in.
Well, that's nice.
No, it ain't. All they're hearing is people talking. They want to hear sound effects.
Look, Twombly.
A guy imposes on all his friends and relatives and gets them to listen to this program, and what do you hear? Yakety, 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 yakety.
Look,
You may not know it, but in Canoga Park, I'm a big man.
For heaven's sake, Twombly, there are sound effects at the end of the show.
Yeah, but all you got is ordinary ones, like a knock on the door, a telephone rings. I want something complicated that'll let me show my artistry.
But look...
I like them dramatic shows. Can't you do a show like a Tale of Two Cities? 'Tis a far, far better thing I do than I have ever did before. Goodbye. That's the guillotine.
Look, Twombly, we're doing a radio show, and you'll come in with your sound effects only when you hear your cue. So just keep quiet and listen.
Yes, sir.
Now, where were we? Oh, say, Malin Merrick.
Yes, Jack.
That was really a wonderful arrangement the orchestra had for Dennis's number.
Thanks.
I also want to thank you for the discipline you brought to the band. I've noticed during the last few weeks, right up to tonight's final program, the boys have been behaving much better. And they all... What was that?
Remley fell off his stool.
Couldn't quite make it to the end of the season. Well, isn't anybody going to pick him up?
No, Jack. We usually let him lie there during the summer. The rest does him good.
Well, okay, let him stay there, but I want him up when we go back on the air next fall, you see. And Malin, rub a little cheese on his face so the mice will keep him shaved. Imagine Remley falling off his stool like that.
To the rest of the world, it might have been Remley who fell, but in Canoga Park, they know it was me.
Not from that reading, they didn't. Now, look, Twombly, this is your last warning. I don't want any more talk from you. You're a sound man, so all we want out of you are sound effects when we give you the cue.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, Malin, what are the other boys in the band going to do this summer? Huh?
Well, most of them are taking summer jobs, all except Bagby. He's going on a pleasure cruise to Hawaii.
Oh, Charlie's going to take an expensive vacation like that. Isn't he going to work at all?
What does he have to work for? He hasn't even spent half the money he got from that Brinks job in Boston.
Malin, how can you say a thing like that about Bagby on the air, even in jest? Now the police will come and get him. Twombly, stop that! And what are you bowing for?
Right now, they're applauding in Canoga Park.
Look, I don't want any more of your silly talk and sound effects. You just give us the sound effects on the right cue, and that's all.
Yes, sir.
Say, Jack.
Yes, Malin.
Since this is our last program, the boys in the band chipped in and bought you a little gift, and they selected Sammy the drummer to make the presentation. Come over here, Sammy.
Okay, Mellon. Mr. Benny, on behalf of all the boys in the band, it gives me great pleasure to present you with this token of our esteem.
Well, thanks, Sammy. Thanks a lot, fellas. Let me see what it is. Oh, isn't that nice? It has my initials on it, too.
Yeah.
Just what I've always wanted. A monogrammed ice cube. Gee, thanks, fellas. And remember, at the start of next season, don't call me. I'll call you. Just wait. I think we better get on with the program. I want to leave early so I can get a quick start. Who can that be? Come in.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Why, Mr. Kitzel.
Mr. Benny, pardon my intrusion, but I just dropped in to say goodbye.
Well, that was very nice. And wait a minute. How'd you know I was going away?
Of this I was ignorant, but I know I'm going away.
Oh, really? Where?
I'm going to Europe to visit my relations.
Oh, that's wonderful. What country do they live in?
Ireland.
Ireland?
Yeah.
Gosh, Mr. Kitzel, I never knew you were of Irish descent.
Just on my mother's side. Full-blooded, I'm not.
Oh, I see.
And then from there, I'm going for a full week to Paris.
Paris?
This is in France.
I know. Tell me, Mr. Kitzel, while you're there, you're going to see some of those Paris nightclub shows?
Ooh. I'm planning to go every single night.
Every night, but the whole show is in French. You won't understand a thing.
Mr. Benny, I'm going for looking, not listening. You know, this I understand in any language.
I know, yes,
And then while I'm over there, and since it'll be summer, I think I'll swim the English Channel.
Swim the English Channel?
That's right.
But, Mr. Kitzel, you can't try a swim like that on the spur of the moment. You gotta train and train and train.
Now level on track 5 for Anaheim, Sosa, and Cook.
Now, Twombly, cut that out.
Amonga.
Now, look, that's the last straw. Another interruption like that, and I'll have you fired. And I don't care how strong your union is. I'm sorry I lost my temper, Mr. Kitzel, but this has been going on all day.
Oh, that's all right. I was just leaving anyway.
Oh, well, goodbye and bon voyage.
Thank you. Mickey McGuire was a man of fire, and he came from County Cork.
Now, kids. No use writing anything. They read anything they want.
May 22nd, 1955, Jack Benny on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of the final Jack Benny program, May 22nd, 1955.
All right. Now, everybody keep quiet. I want to call up and have my car sent around to the front of the studio so I can get right home.
Say, Mabel, what is it, Gertrude? Mr. Benny's line is flashing. Yes, Mr. Benny. Yeah, I'll tell him. Goodbye. So what does he want? He wants I should call the parking lot to let them know he's leaving soon so they can get his car ready. Well, ain't he an eager beaver? What's he in such a hurry about to get his car? He always does that. It takes 15 minutes to get the boiler hot. You know, Gertrude, I don't understand him. He's such a big star. Why does he drive around in such an old jalopy? Well, that's because he's so sentimental. Oh, he loves the car? And I loves money. I know that, but I can't understand why he keeps saving all the time. Hasn't he heard that famous expression, you can't take it with you? He's heard it all right. But he thinks he's worked out a system to get around it. Well, how? He had a tailor sew pockets in his skin. Well, you know, everybody can kid Jack about being cheap, but I happen to know he has a generous side, too. What makes you say that? Well, the other night we were having dinner at the Sportsman's Lodge, and you know how most people only leave 10% of the bill for a tip? Uh-huh. Well, Jack insisted I leave 15. Oh, how nice. Hello? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Betty. The line to the parking lot is busy. I'll keep trying and tell him you want the car. It'll be ready by the time you are.
Oh, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Gertrude. Well, kids, the program is nearly over, and it looks like we've come to the end of another season. At a time like this... Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny. This is Rochester.
What is it, Rochester?
Nothing important. I just want you to know that I've got all your things packed and ready for your trip.
Good. You put in all that stuff in my medicine chest?
Yes, sir. I packed your nerve tonic, stomach tonic, liver tonic, blood tonic, and tonic tonic.
Tonic tonic? What have I got that for?
In case any of the other tonics feel run down, that's what they take.
Oh, well, Rochester, did you pack my new gray suit?
No, sir, it's dirty. I'm going to send it to the cleaners.
But I want to wear it tomorrow in Las Vegas.
But, boss, that gray suit doesn't give enough contrast with your golden curly locks.
But, Rochester, what can I do? I don't have any other new suit.
I know, but you got other locks.
Well, all right.
Now tell me, Mr. Benny, do you want me to pack your brown spiked shoes or your two-tone spiked shoes?
I don't want any spiked shoes. I'm not going to play golf in Las Vegas.
I know, but if you win something, you'll want to get out fast.
Gee, I didn't think of that. Pack the brown one.
Yes, sir. And, Mr. Benny, I think you ought to get some new luggage. This bag you got here is old and it looks awful.
Rochester, I'll have you know that bag is genuine cowhide.
Oh, boss, this is cowhide?
Well, only on its mother's side. Full-blooded, it's not. Now, Rochester, I hope you memorized that nightclub act I taught you. As your agent, I've arranged for an audition for you at the Flamingo, and I think I can get you booked in there.
I know, and I appreciate it. Only,
Only what?
well, I read that contract I've got with you.
What about it?
Ain't I supposed to get the 90%?
Rochester, I'm putting the rest of that money away for you to use as a nest egg.
Well, push the hen off. I'm hungry.
Stop worrying about it. You'll get everything that's coming to you. Now, I'll be back as soon as the program's over, and we'll leave right after dinner.
Okay. Goodbye.
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 For heaven's sakes, Twombly, hang up the phone.
You told me you didn't want no more sound effects.
Well, of all the silly, go ahead and play, Malin. Ladies and gentlemen, although this is called the Jack Benny program, I'd like to say that its success is due to the competent people I have working with me, my wonderful cast, the great supporting players I have, my producer, my engineer, my sound man, my capable writers, my fine musicians.
How can you read that stuff? Doesn't it make you sick?
Good night, folks. See you in the fall.
The Jack Benny program is written by Sam Perrin, Milt Josephsberg, George Balzer, John Tackerberry, Al Gordon, Hal Goldman, and produced and transcribed by Hilliard Marks.
So why did the final Jack Benny show not have a big send-off? because it wasn't until after the show aired that the American Tobacco Company decided they wanted Jack to spend all his time on television and would no longer sponsor the radio show. And for that reason, the weekly Jack Benny Show sort of died not with a bang, but with a whimper. Alrighty, Jack Benny, May 22nd, 1955, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. These messages now from your favorite radio station. Just going to take a minute here to tell you about the big savings going on now, the clearance sale at mypillow.com. And you know, I've talked about how in my office I have a pair of my slippers, and they're really comfortable, and they're on clearance right now. The mypillow.com slippers, $25 a pair, limit 10. And I would buy 3 or 4 more pairs. Unfortunately, they're out of my size. They also have sheets, pillowcases, clothing items, all on special right now. Go to mypillow.com, click on the clearance tab at the top of the page, use my promo code Wyatt, or call 1-800-928-4715. Limited sizes remaining in the MyPillow slippers, limited colors on other items. mypillow.com, clearance tab, promo code Wyatt, 1-800-928-4715. Now we go from Jack Benny's final show to him concentrating on television to a television show that came to radio on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. John Dehner, Have Gun Will Travel, May 22nd, 1960.
The old man doesn't have long to live. If he learns the truth about his gold mine, it might be the end of him.
Have Gun Will Travel. Starring Mr. John Dehner as Paladin. San Francisco, 1875. The Carlton Hotel, headquarters of a man called Paladin.
Mr. Paladin. Mr. Paladin.
Over here, hey boy.
Oh, yes, I didn't see you sit over in corner, slide down in chair, feet up on stool, smoky cigar. Like man with nothing on mind.
Do I give that impression?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're quite right. You see before you, hey boy, a man enjoying his leisure. Now, what can I do for you?
Oh, here, telegram.
Thank you. Let's see. Can you get up here? Well, he doesn't waste words, does he? Signed, Matthew Penrod.
Oh, you know this man, huh?
Well, hey, boy, there was a time when I guess just about everybody knew Matt Penrod, or at least knew about him. Did you ever hear of the Lucky Penny Mine?
The Lucky Penny Mine?
Yeah.
No.
Well, anyway, it's up above Prescott in Arizona territory. Matt Penrod had prospected for years, all over the West, with no luck. And finally, he was down to his last penny. And the story is he flipped a coin. Tails, he'd forget the whole thing. And heads, he'd give it one more try. And the penny came up heads.
Oh, so? That when he found the Lucky Penny Mine, did he make a big strike?
A big one. A lot of gold was taken out of the Lucky Penny. Then, poor Matt, the vein ran out. Overnight. Completely gone.
Oh, too bad.
Matt wouldn't believe the mine was worked out, and he kept pouring more money into the thing until, well, he finally went broke. And the last time I saw him, he was still there in that shut-down mine, digging around, looking for that lost vein.
Oh, he don't give up, eh?
No, sort of sad, too. I wonder what Matt wants with me. Can you get up here? Well, I certainly can. Hey, boy, let's go pack. The last time I had occasion to visit the Lucky Penny, it was a ghost mine. So when I arrived, I was surprised to see smoke pouring from the smelter stacks and to hear unmistakable sounds of activity. I rode on to the ornate old house Matt Penrod had built for himself on the side of a hill. He was waiting for me on a wide-screened porch that overlooked the mine.
Paladin.
Hey, Matt.
Oh,
Well.
God, I'm glad to see you.
How are you, Matt?
Look at her, Paladin. Just look out there, going like a house afire. Come on over here and sit down, son.
Well, Matt, that sure is a beautiful sight, all right. So, you fooled the experts. You found the lost vein, huh?
Darndest thing.
Tell me about it, Matt.
Well, like you see, with me in this here doggone wheelchair, got so I couldn't climb around my diggings anymore. Had to give it up. Yep, I had to call it quits.
Oh, not you, Matt.
Yep. Then one day this fella come along, said he'd heard about the mine, wanted to know if he could look around. I had him sized up for a real dude, but I said, sure, go ahead. Well, Paladin, if he didn't go poking around in them shafts and locate that lost vein.
Well, you always said it was there, Matt.
Yep. Sure wish I was able to get a look at her. And you know something? Know what this fella's name is?
Huh.
Penny. Joe Penny.
Joe Penny?
Yeah. You see?
Yeah.
Lucky Penny.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he come to me with a proposition to work the mine. He take over, we go shares. It's all right with me right now, 'cause I just like to see her going.
Yeah, I think I understand.
Just one bad thing, though. You remember Charlie Hodges?
Sure. The superintendent who was with you for so long.
Yep. Well, Charlie and this Joe just couldn't seem to hit it off. Couldn't work together. Wasn't anything I could do about it, Paladin. It just turned out that Charlie had to go.
That seems a shame.
Sure was. Sort of took the shine off the whole thing. But now there's something else.
What's that?
Our first shipment went out about 3 weeks ago, headed for the mint. But we lost it.
Lost it?
Yeah. Between the mill and the railroad, they tell me.
You mean it was held up, robbed?
So they say.
Have you called in the law?
No, I don't want the law in on this. That's why I sent for you. It ain't so much I want to know who did it. I just have to know who didn't. And I want you to prove he didn't have nothing to do with it.
Who?
Charlie Hodges.
Oh, Matt, surely you don't think that...
No, of course I don't. But they're trying to tell me he did. Joe Penny, some of them others pointing the finger at him. And I ain't going to have it. Now, you get to work, Paladin. You prove Charlie didn't have nothing to do with it.
I don't think that'll be very hard, Matt. Will I have a chance to meet this Penny?
He ain't here now. Said he had to go east on a buying trip. I don't know. But you get to work.
All right, Matt.
Look at that mine, Paladin. Going like a house afire.
It was late in the day when I left Matt's house. But I decided to swing around and have a look at the mine. That wasn't easy. A high wall completely surrounded the place. I followed the wall until I found a gate. The sign said, keep out, but I somehow couldn't believe it. The gate was open. So I started through.
That's far enough. Can't you read?
Yeah?
It says, keep out. That was your warning, mister. That shot was aimed over your head. If you show up here again, I'll send a bullet through you.
I see.
Understand?
No, but I hope to. Very soon. Come on, boy. A fortress mine was an unusual thing in that part of the country, and I began to wonder just how much old Matt knew about his lucky penny operations. The hotel in town was musty from its years of disuse, but it was open for business, so I checked in and went up to my room. I tried to figure just where to start to prove that Charlie Hodges did not steal the Lucky Penny's gold shipment. Yes?
Paladin?
Yes?
Remember me?
Charlie Hodges.
I happened to be in town when you rode through today. I thought I recognized you.
I'm glad you did, Charlie. Come on in.
Thank you.
I saw Matt this afternoon.
Oh, what'd you think?
He looks old, tired, but he's happy.
Yeah, he's happy. Maybe after all, that's what's important.
Well, go on, sit down, Charlie.
Oh, thanks.
Say, Charlie, Matt wants me to check that robbery of his gold shipment.
Oh?
Charlie, he wants me to prove that you didn't do it.
Well, that'll be easy. I didn't.
That convinces me. Do you have any idea who did, Charlie?
Well, as near as I can figure, nobody.
What do you mean?
I don't see how anybody could steal the gold. Because I don't see how there could be any gold.
Huh?
Oh, the lucky penny's worked out.
Oh, they're working the mine right now. Look out the window. You can see the fire from the smokestacks. They must be on a 24-hour schedule.
That's what's got me baffled. Paladin, I know the lucky penny like I know the inside of my hand. And I know a worked-out mine when I see one. That vein didn't just default, it quit.
Matt doesn't think so.
I know.
What about this Joe Penny?
Well, we didn't get along right from the start, but funny thing, he saw to it that I never had a chance to check out that vein he discovered.
But even helpless as he is, how could anyone fool an old miner like Matt?
Well, Matt isn't the man he used to be, Paladin. You know, besides, a man believes what he wants to believe.
Ah, you're right.
Say, did you ever meet this Joe Penny?
No.
Believe me, he's just a cheap crook.
Do you know what he's up to?
I think so.
Investment swindle?
Sure, he wants to make the lucky penny look like a going outfit so the suckers will want a piece of it.
And he had to fake the holdup to explain away why there's nothing to show for all the activity, huh?
Exactly. The worst thing, when he collects his boodle, he's going to beat it and leave the old man helpless. Paladin, I don't want to see that happen.
Well, we'd have to prove they're faking the operation. The only way to do it is get inside. I tried it, and I didn't get very far. What can we do, Charlie?
Well, you know, Paladin, I've been thinking about this, and there is a way. There's an old tunnel starts outside that wall. It's been sealed off from the main shaft, but it won't take much of a charge to clear it.
Well, why don't we give it a try? Go out there first thing in the morning.
Sure, I'm willing. I'll have the dynamite with me.
Now, how long since this tunnel's been here?
Oh, long time. Used to be the east portal before we abandoned it. I'll bet even Matt's forgotten about it. Hey, hold it. Here's where she's sealed off. Oh, give me that dynamite stick.
Here.
You got the caps?
Uh-huh. When you find your spot, I'll fuse it.
All right. Now, let's see. Well, about here will make her fall, right?
All right. Won't they hear the blast up there?
No, not enough. You got her crimped yet?
Yeah, ready to go.
All right, now get back a ways. You better get down on your belly.
That's a short fuse, Charlie. When you light it, move fast.
Yeah. Well, there she is.
Very pretty, Charlie.
I used to be considered one of the best powder monkeys in the West. I'm glad to know I haven't lost my touch.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
I was happy to remember that Charlie knew the lucky penny like the inside of his hand. It was all a bewildering maze to me, but somehow we eventually reached the main portal and we were able to look out on the yard where the mill and refinery were located.
Looks like we made a mistake when we figured to disguise ourselves in these miners' clothes.
Those men out there look more like Barbary Coast riffraff.
Never see such a bunch of plug uglies. Look, all those that ain't in the poker game have rifles over their shoulders.
Hey, you smell that?
Yeah.
What is it?
There's chlorine gas. They got that refinery running full blast.
Is there any way we can get over there?
Yeah, if we can make it past those rifles, we can duck behind the slag dump and get around the back way.
Come on. Take off that miner's hat. It makes you conspicuous.
Yeah.
All right, come on. Come on.
We made it.
Yeah. Wonder why they have no rifle guarding this spot.
I guess he stepped over to take a hand in the poker game. Say, you know, Paladin, I'm confused.
Why?
Well, some of that slag we passed is hot, like it was fresh dumped.
Well, that would mean they're going through the whole smelting process?
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't have to do that just for show, would they?
Well, I can't see why. Have you got your gun?
Yeah.
We'll have to shoot our way out if we get caught, but I want to try to get to that storage vault over there.
Where's that?
That iron shed, see?
Oh.
The heavy door on it? All right, come on.
Yep.
Hey, we're in luck. It isn't locked.
Ooh, Charlie, look at that.
What? Gold bars, real gold.
Hey, Maxie, look it!
Oh, they've seen us.
Do we shoot?
No, better to run. Follow me.
Right.
May 22nd, 1960, Have Gun Will Travel on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Have Gun Will Travel, May 22nd, 1960.
The rifle bullets began to bounce all around us, and suddenly we had a whole army on our tail. I kept my eyes on Charlie's feet and ran around a slag dump, across the yard, and into the mine shaft, and then it was dark. And I followed the sound. We climbed up, slid down, twisted, turned.
All right. We can stop now. Taking a while to find us here. I used a shortcut.
You mean you actually know where we are?
Yeah, number 3 shaft. There's some storage chambers here, powder magazine, tools, things like that.
You suppose we could find a lantern?
Yeah, I think so. Supply chamber's right down here. Say, Paladin, that was gold, wasn't it?
It sure was.
I'll be. That lantern should be here.
You really know your way around this lucky penny, don't you?
Yeah, I thought I knew all there was to know about her, but she kind of got me baffled now. Oh, yeah, here's one. Wait, I'll light it up.
Need any help?
No. There we are.
That's cheerful.
Say, Paladin.
What?
Look, this is general storage.
Well, what do you know about that? Why, there must be tons and tons of that stuff piled up in here.
Gold watch case, gold ring.
Gold loving cup and gold chain.
Gold spoon.
Hey, look at this. Gold tooth.
Oh.
Hey, you know, Charlie, all of a sudden the operation at the Lucky Penny isn't quite so baffling.
It is to me.
I sure have to hand it to Joe Penny. He had quite an idea.
Well, if you get this, you tell me, will you?
The way I see it, Joe is using the Lucky Penny to fence stolen gold. This must be sort of a clearinghouse for gold loot from petty thefts and robberies all over the country. Joe buys it cheap, runs it through the smelter, comes out legitimate. Nice, clean gold bars, acceptable to the mint.
What do you know about that? You think that's it, huh?
I'm sure of it. He's pretty smart.
Yeah, maybe not so smart. He got found out.
Yeah, we found him out, but right now we're in this mine with a whole army of his riflemen after us. We may never have a chance to prove it.
I don't want to prove it.
Why not?
Well, you know and I know that old Matt hasn't got many days to live. Can you imagine what it'd do to him if this story came out?
Well, you're right, Charlie, but we can't let them keep this up.
Yeah, let's just spoil their little game. Scare them off. Run them out. Paladin, the powder magazine's right over here. Load up with as much of the stuff as you can carry. We can start here with general storage.
A stick of dynamite sealed the entrance to general storage, and then we retraced our steps through the mine, blasting shut every tunnel and chamber where the loot was stored. The noise echoed and re-echoed, and a whole hill began to shake. And when we reached the portal, we saw the riflemen in full retreat across the yard. Charlie tossed his last stick of dynamite after them. As to a man, they went over the high wall. That evening, I called on Matt Penrod. I merely assured him that I was convinced beyond any doubt that Charlie was innocent.
And I sure thank you, Paladin. Of course, I know Charlie never done it, but I just had to prove it. I sure wish Charlie'd consider coming back to the Lucky Penny.
Matt, what about this Joe Penny?
Oh, I had a note from Joe. That buying trip he went on, he ran into some sort of difficulty. He's going to be detained a long time. 2 to 5 years, he said.
Oh, I see. Well, I think Charlie would be happy to come back.
Be worth his while, the way things are popping at the mine. I guess I'm a silly old man, Paladin. But you don't know what it means to me to sit here on my porch like this, hearing them sounds at the Lucky Penny. Like this morning. Yeah, seems kind of quiet tonight, though. But this morning and all that blasting a-going on, yes, sir, Bob, I could tell things was really a-humming.
That's right, man. Things were really humming. Oh, Miss Wong.
Yeah, just finished cleaning your room, Mr. Paladin.
That's very nice.
Oh, thank you. You had nice breakfast in dining room this morning?
Oh, yes, I did. Don't tell anyone, but I had big steak.
Big steak?
3 eggs.
3 eggs?
Hash brown potatoes.
Hash brown.
And hot biscuits.
Oh.
Dripping butter.
My, you eat too much. You get pudgy fat.
No danger, Miss Wong. The only good meals I get are those here at the Carlton, and that isn't very often since I'm away most of the time anyway.
Yes, Oh, Mr. Paladin, Macy Wong found penny you leave on bureau dresser.
Oh, yes, that's a special penny, Miss Wong.
Oh?
Came in the mail yesterday with some very sad news. A friend of mine passed away.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful old gentleman.
Oh.
He remembered me in his will.
Oh, you inherit some money?
Yes. That penny.
Just one penny?
That's all. But it's very special. A lucky penny.
Oh, it's supposed to bring you much luck?
Maybe. We'll see, Miss Wong.
Is that?
Have Gun, Will Travel. Created by Herb Meadow and Sam Rolfe, is produced and directed in Hollywood by Frank Paris and stars John Dehner as Paladin, with Ben Wright as Hayboy and Virginia Gregg as Miss Wong. Tonight's story was specially written for Have Gun, Will Travel by Ann Dowd. Featured in the cast were Ralph Moody, Joseph Cranston, and Joseph Kearns. This is Hugh Douglas inviting you to join us again next week when CBS Radio presents Have Gun, Will Travel.
May 22nd, 1960, Have Gun Will Travel here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. John Dehner, quite a performer, wasn't he? Visit our webpage, classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. Stream our shows. Learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can contact me there, find our social media links, and if you're so inclined, you can buy me a copy. The Buy Me a Copy money helps us acquire additional classic radio collections. That's at classicradio.stream. Have yourself a great day. Thank this station, support their advertisers, and tell your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.